Hello, everybody. It's me, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Typically, this is when I say it's Friday, time for another Dogman or Bigfoot encounter story, but it is Saturday. I am a day behind, but not a dollar short. Please subscribe to Bigfoot, Michigan Rob on YouTube. Live shows Tuesdays, 9 in the East, Beyond BMR. Thursday afternoon, 1 in the East, brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, and Krista. This story has got everything. I don't know, is this a werewolf? Is it a dogman? Is it a demon? There's a lot to unpack in this. There's a tribal legend story in this. There's the grandfather story in this. And this is told through the eyes of the person that sent me in this email on his experiences for hunting down this creature that lurked western Pennsylvania. Here we go. I ran for what seemed to be forever. I must have dashed 50 yards from the tree line to grandfather's cabin in western Pennsylvania back in the summer of 1985. I then was 18 years old, and upon crashing through Grandpa's front door, I literally fell to the floor crying like a little baby. I was gasping for air and tried to explain what had happened. My grandfather listened intently and then told me about a local legend of a creature that haunts the woods at night. He revealed that he had encountered this before and warned me to be careful. He explained the beast to be half man and half wolf. I had not believed what my eyes were hearing from Grandpa. After calming down and processing what I had seen, I remember red eyes that were at least 7 feet from the ground, and it growled a menacing growl. Unlike a wolf, it was more shrilling and disturbing in nature. It was very unnatural. That is the only way I can describe it. I couldn't shake the feeling of terror and decided to investigate further. The next night, armed with only a flashlight, I ventured back into the woods to find evidence of this creature. As I walked through the dense forest, I heard eerie sounds and twigs snapping underfoot. Suddenly, I saw those glowing eyes again staring at me through the trees, those red eyes. My heart racing, I ran back to grandfather's cabin as fast as my legs could carry me. Once again, grandfather had warned me and told me the next time I decided to go back to bring him along. Now, he was staying with his grandfather that I found out later for the summer. Okay, his parents were wherever they were. He was hanging with grandfather. So pretty cool. I remember doing that as a kid myself. Over the next few days, strange things began happening around the cabin. Items moved on their own. Doors creaked open in the middle of the night, and there were unexplainable noises and howls coming from outside. Finally, I decided to confront this creature once and for all. With my grandfather by my side, we ventured deep into the woods armed with guns. We finally came face to face with what turned out to be a bear with an injured leg. Relieved, but still shaken from our ordeal, we returned to the safety of my grandfather's cabin. I thought that this had ended. However, not in the slightest. Grandfather told me that the bear was not behind the strange activity around the cabin and was not what I had encountered the first 2 prior times in the woods. Grandfather told me that I was now marked and that the cabin was marked by these wolf-like beings. So something's going on here. Grandpa's got a story to tell, I can feel. I apologized to Grandpa and he told me not to worry. Grandpa then told me it was time. I asked him time for what? He replied, to rid my land of this evil. I asked Grandpa to further explain what he knew about these creatures. He sat back and told me the story. Grandfather went on to tell me about a cult that worshipped Satan and tried to summon the dog of the devil. This story was in the mid-1900s and was brought to Grandpa from one of his First Nation friends, Chief Fortrax. The chief went on to tell Grandpa that the land was tainted. You see, Chief Fortrax was the first person that my grandfather told of his dogman or demon dog-like experience, and warned Grandfather never to enter that part of the woods, as he would become marked as well as his property. Now, in fact, that is what I fear I had done. Grandpa's story involved an alleged kidnapping of a pregnant local tribeswoman who was never found. It was believed that she was sacrificed and her unborn child was given to the forest and given to Satan. Years later, the local tribesfolk reportedly saw a red-eyed, sinister-looking half-man, half-wolf lurking in the forest. It was believed to be that of the woman's sacrificed child, now raised by a pack of evil, dog-like humans. The devil dog spawn of Satan himself. For many years, children and women turned up missing and murdered in the woods until a then local shaman went into the forest and sacrificed himself to break the curse of the land. The kidnappings and mayhem stopped for many decades until back in 1974 when a local woman vanished and her skinned corpse was found in those very same woods. The investigation was performed by tribal police and kept a secret from the quote-unquote real world. This had been kept secret for all those years. I could not believe what I was hearing. My blood grew cold. Have I now been in contact with the devil himself? I was about to find out as Grandpa and myself, along with Chief Fortrax, decided to embark on a terrifying mission to cast this evil from my Grandpa's property and from myself. It was late, 1 a.m., when the three of us ventured into the forest. We went to the very spot of my first encounter. We sat and we waited. I had asked immediately as to why Chief Fortrax and Grandpa brought no weapons. They both almost in unison retorted, "The power of faith, no matter what or whom you believe in, is your weapon." I said, "Great," sarcastically aloud. It was now approaching 3 a.m. when the glowing red eyes appeared. They hovered again approximately 7 feet above ground. I wanted to run. Grandpa grabbed me by my arm and told me to stay and show no fear. My fear expanded as now the glowing red eyes were filled in by a werewolf or half-man looking creature that materialized right in front of the three of us, as we were sitting down on the ground, three abreast. The creature was very fierce in stature, huge wolf-like head, and the hair or fur appeared to be almost feather-like. I had to keep covering my eyes to ensure I was seeing this. I kept wiping them and clearing them. It was there. Then, from his sitting position, Chief Fortrax rose up and walked right towards the being. I am terrified. What is he doing? I'm thinking to myself. The chief then went into a pelt he had strapped around his waist and threw some sort of dust in this monster's direction. He started to chant in tribal tongue. The wolf-like man now elevated right in front of our eyes, as though the feathers produced wings in the back of his back, and he rose, soaring in the air. It let out a menacing scream, and it evaporated into the night air. Chief passed out. It took 5 minutes for him to regain consciousness, and then he spoke. The evil is gone from the land. I never told anybody this story, including my parents. Today, I continue to research Dogman and strange phenomena. I never have come across anything even remotely close to these experiences. Chief Fortrax has long since passed. Grandpa died a decade later, and in his will, he bestowed upon me his property with a note, and it reads, "Remember what you have learned of the land. I trust you will do the right thing. Love, Grandpa." A lot to unpack there. You've got what this young man encountered prior to the grandpa telling him the story prior to hearing the story from the chief. A lot of things in this western Pennsylvania forest area was, in fact, were these murders or these sacrifices? I mean, did they take place? I'd like to kind of dive into this and look this stuff up. So I'm gonna try to find that. But I don't know. Was this a demon, a dog from Satan? Was this a werewolf? Was this a dog man? To me, it has the elements of certainly of the supernatural. It has the elements of being evil. I think that, in fact, if back in the 1900s that there was a sacrifice, an unborn child given to the forest, given to quote unquote Satan, is this what really happened in these woods? What about Chief Dan? What about this thing that I never heard about, a dog man or werewolf, or that sprouts feathers or sprouts wings and had a feather covering? I've never ever heard that. Then for it to rise up in the air, the chief said some tribal language, threw some dust, and it disappeared. I'm not so sure that the evil was cast from this place. It was a very intriguing story, to say the least. Very scary. This young man, Grandpa, now gave this young man this property and this cabin. I hope he's smart about his investigations. I like to follow up on an email to see what he has uncovered further since then. I'm guessing he's not doing any research in this part of town, or part of the forest, if you will. I hope you enjoyed that. I found it very interesting. It's food for thought anyways. I hope you enjoyed it. I am Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget, Tuesdays at 9 in the East, Thursdays at 1 in the East are my 2 live shows. I put these stories out, these encounter stories from subscribers every week. The super share is open, the super thanks is open, should you care to donate. I appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Again, I am Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Please subscribe. Enjoy your weekend. I know I will.